please, thank you very much, but don't, please, I'm not staying. The thing, no. No, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't, normally I would do, well, I don't use the word normally loosely, but ladies and gentlemen, shut your rich face, you. Listen, I've had a ghastly time.
Picture a man who seems to be in a permanent state of nervous collapse. A man whose chin is perpetually tucked into his neck, whose eyebrows are arched in mock horror, and whose primary vocabulary consists of ooh, no, don't, titter, and listen. This was Frankie Howerd. He didn't just tell jokes, he invited the audience into a conspiracy of naughty secrets.
He said, we think you could help us, little ways, like, for instance, he said you could pass on messages or receive information. So I said, well, now look, how much? I said, let's get the money straight. But he said, you're doing this for Her Majesty. I said, look, I will do this for Her Majesty, as long as she's on the back of a couple of fivers. He said, now look, I must warn you, it could be very dangerous. Because he said, they, he said, will stop at nothing to discredit you. They'll use all sorts of immoral and depraved methods. So I said, don't anticipate, wait a minute. I said, if I join you, I said, well, do you think they, because I was getting the hang of it now, I said, they'll try and corrupt me. I said, with low bribes and unscrupulous women, and that is a jest. I said, well, count me in. Well, let's face it, there's nothing like a bit of free depravity, is there? I mean, look at the price you have to pay for it normally. I mean, those what the butler saw machines are threepence now, you know.
He was the master of the unspoken joke, the double entendre that lived entirely in the space between his words and his scandalized expressions. His journey was a roller coaster of massive stardom and crushing obscurity, a cycle of being the biggest name in Britain one year and forgotten the next. But through it all, his genius remained his ability to look at an audience and treat them like a group of gossiping neighbours. This is the story of how a stuttering, anxious boy from York became a pillar of British comedy by turning his own insecurities into his greatest comedic weapon. Born Francis Alec Howerd in York in 1917, Frankie's early years were defined by a struggle to be heard. Moving to Eltham as a child, he suffered from a pronounced stutter and a debilitating lack of confidence. Yet, despite his shyness, Frankie felt the pull of the spotlight. He began performing in school plays and local church groups, finding that when he played a character, his stutter often vanished. During World War II, he joined the army and became part of the stars in battle dress troupe. It was here, performing for soldiers in high-pressure environments, that he learned the art of the heckle. He realized that if he acted as if the audience's laughter was interrupting him, or if he pretended to be offended by their tittering, he had total control. He was learning to turn his natural hesitation into a deliberate, rhythmic, comedic style.
And, and so I thought I wanted to apologise in a way. Why someone dropped something? Well, I shall drop a few tonight, so don't worry. No, no, that's what they call ad-libbing. You never get that on this programme. Now, no,
After the war, Frankie's rise was meteoric. He auditioned for the BBC and, despite initial nerves, became a sensation on the radio show Variety Bandbox. In an era of fast-paced, set-up punchline comics, Frankie was revolutionary. He would wander onto the stage and seemingly forget his act, rambling about his fictional management or complaining about the audience's behaviour.
Yes. It's about time. I've been waiting a hell of a time here to get on. It's 25 to 12. I thought I'd have to have another shave before I got on, but never mind. So I enjoyed bits of it. And I mean the bits I understood. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start this little lecture, I thought I ought really to explain what I'm doing here in the first place, because...
The public fell in love with this anti-comedian. By the early 1950s, he was a household name, starring in his own shows and making films. His catchphrases, "Titter you not" and "Shut your face," entered the national lexicon. But Frankie's career was built on a fragile foundation. As the variety era began to fade and a new, sharper satire movement emerged in the late 50s, Frankie's style was suddenly seen as old-fashioned. He went from sold-out theatres to being unable to find work, entering a wilderness period that would have broken a lesser entertainer. Frankie Howerd's greatest talent was his resilience. In the mid-60s, just when the world had written him off, he staged the first of his legendary comebacks. He began performing at the Establishment Club, a venue for the angry young men of the satire boom. The sophisticated audience realised that Frankie wasn't old-fashioned. He was a postmodern master of irony.
Last year. You see, everyone blames Macmillan for sacking out the government, but you see, I don't. No, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't blame him. I blame her. No, I do. It's Dot. No, obviously, no, Dottie, Macmillan. Well, obviously what happened. No, stop. Because, don't. No, obviously, I mean, you can see what's happened. She's obviously got her knife into some of their wives, and they've had to go, you see. And you see, that's where Beryl Moore...
This led to his most iconic role, Lucio in the TV series Up Pompeii. Set in ancient Rome, the show allowed Frankie to break the fourth wall constantly, speaking directly to the camera and warning the audience about the naughty plots unfolding behind him. This role cemented his persona, the put-upon servant who was the only sane person in a world of lecherous aristocrats. He was no longer just a stand-up. He was a character actor whose every ooh and ah was a masterclass in timing.
His ode. Behold her beauty, fine as gold, as great as Rome's fair cities. Here we are, get ready. But greater by far and joy to behold is the greatness of her intellect.
I couldn't think of a word to rhyme there. Is there one?
The sender of the first correct solution will receive 2 free tickets to our spectacle.
By the late 1960s and early 70s, Frankie found his spiritual home in the iconic Carry On film series. While many of his peers were comfortable in the ensemble, Frankie was a force all his own.
Ah, dear Lady Berkeley, did you see the giraffes just now?
Yes, I did. Quaint things. I wonder why it is they have such long necks.
Oh, well, it's quite simple. It's because their heads are so far away from their bodies.
Do you know, I would never have thought of that. You're so very knowledgeable, Professor.
Oh, it's observation, really.
His most memorable turn came in 1970 with Carry On Up the Jungle. Playing the role of the nervous, fastidious Professor Inigo Tinkle, he was the perfect foil to the chaotic slapstick madness of the rest of the cast.
Same all the way down, aren't they? I mean, they don't seem to have the wherewithals.
The wherewithals to what?
Well, I mean, they do if, they're lacking, Did you see the giraffes just now?
Yes, I did. But what I wanted to know was, if one came in close contact with a snake, could it harm one?
Oh, that would depend on the snake. You see, there is a brown one, the African.
He turned the Carry On brand of farce into something more theatrical, making Professor Tinkle one of the few characters who genuinely seemed worried about the absurdity happening around him. His presence elevated the films, bringing a sense of manic energy that defined the Carry On golden era.
It's Inigo. Evelyn, You're not asleep, are you? Oh, you're only pretending, aren't you? Naughty. I heard you moving about just now. Oh, Evelyn, you're shy, aren't you? Oh, Evelyn. This is not just the beast in me, you know. Evelyn. I know we're all animals under the skin. Oh, yes, even you. Oh, Evelyn. What bliss! That exotic perfume and the feel of your soft, hairy skin. Hairy skin? But stay there. Don't move, excuse me.
In his later years, Frankie Howerd achieved the status of a national treasure. He was rediscovered by yet another generation in the late 80s, touring universities and appearing on cult television shows. He lived long enough to see his old-fashioned style recognized as timeless genius. However, behind the laughter was a private, deeply anxious man. He kept his personal life and his sexuality hidden for decades, living in fear that the public might reject him. This inner tension, the need to be loved by an audience while fearing their judgment, is what gave his comedy its edge. He passed away in 1992, but his influence is everywhere, from the self-referential humor of modern sitcoms to the breaking the fourth wall techniques used in blockbuster movies. Frankie Howerd proved that you don't need a perfect delivery to be a star. Sometimes it's the stumbles, the sighs, and the ooh no's that make you immortal.